Have you ever felt kind of stuck between all the marketing hype and the, well, messy reality of actually using AI? If you have, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to build your foundation for navigating this wild AI landscape with some real confidence. Okay, let's just dive right in.
This quote, it just perfectly captures the central challenge we're all facing, right? AI models are absolute masters of sounding authoritative, whether they're stating a simple fact or just inventing something completely out of thin air. And that's a huge problem. It's why so many of us get so frustrated.
So, these are the big questions, aren't they? And today, we are going to answer them. We're going to break down exactly why AI acts this way, and more importantly, give you a practical toolkit to take back control so you can use these things effectively and, safely.
Okay, so the very first thing you have to grasp is a really fundamental design principle. AI models are not built to be accurate. They are built to sound convincing. It's a subtle difference, but it is an incredibly important one that explains pretty much everything about how they behave.
And this is why. It really breaks down pretty simply. These models learn from our text, right? And we humans, well, we tend to write with a whole lot of unearned confidence. So the AI just learns that sounding authoritative gets a better response. It's not thinking. It doesn't know a thing. It's just an incredibly advanced pattern-matching machine, predicting the next most plausible word based on a giant statistical model. That's it.
All right, so building on that idea, let's do some myth-busting. We're going to tackle some of the most common and, honestly, damaging myths about AI. Getting these straight is going to completely change how you interact with these tools. Oh, this is the big one. So many people think ChatGPT is learning from their chats, but it's not. LLM stands for Large Language Model, not Language Learning Model. Once it's trained, it's done. It doesn't learn anything new. It's just adapting its response style in that moment to better match what it thinks you're looking for.
We all hear the term hallucination, and we automatically think it's an error, a bug, that needs to be squashed. But let's try to reframe that. What if this ability to just make things up, to combine concepts in totally new ways, is exactly what makes AI so useful for brainstorming? If it could only repeat what it was trained on, it would just be a really clunky search engine. Its hallucinations are actually the source of its creative spark.
And this gets right to the heart of the whole human-AI partnership. AI isn't a replacement, it's an amplifier. And honestly, the Mr. Meeseeks analogy from Rick and Morty is just perfect. Every single time you start a chat, it's like a brand new being created for one single purpose, with zero memory, zero experience. It's a tool that absolutely needs your guidance, your context, and your creativity to be useful at all.
So, now that we've cleared up some of the hype, how do we actually put this knowledge into practice? Well, the solution is to build your own internal bullshit detector. And right now, we're going to walk through a simple but really powerful framework for checking any AI output you get.
And here it is. Instead of just going with a gut feeling, this 5-step framework gives you a systematic way to look at any AI response. Think of it as your new mental checklist to separate what's useful from what's useless. And of course, what's factual from what's pure fiction.
First up, the source check. This is absolutely fundamental. If an AI gives you facts, you have to ask for its sources. But don't stop there. AIs are notorious for just inventing citations that look plausible. You have to actually click the links, check if they're real, if they're relevant, and if they're from a reliable place.
Next, you want to check for consistency. Here's a great little trick. Ask the same question, but in a slightly different way, and see if the answer changes. If it does, that is a massive red flag. And always, always trust your gut. If something just feels off or contradicts what you already know, you need to be skeptical. Step 3 is the context check. You gotta ask, is the AI actually answering my question, or has it just gone off on some weird tangent? These language models love to make assumptions. So your job is to make sure it's staying on track and not trying to be an expert in something it knows nothing about, like, asking it for financial advice. Bad idea.
Now, let's check the logic itself. Does the reasoning actually flow from one point to the next, or are there these strange, illogical jumps? A really good sign is when an AI actually admits what it doesn't know. An AI that claims to know everything is an AI you definitely cannot trust.
And finally, we've got the most important step of all, verification. No matter how good the answer seems, this is where the rubber meets the road. Take the AI's key claims and go prove them yourself with independent, reliable sources. This final human check is completely non-negotiable.
Okay, so that framework is your defense. But how do you apply it in your day-to-day workflow without getting bogged down? Let's break down a really simple rulebook for when it's generally safe to trust the AI's output and when you absolutely must verify it.
This table just makes it crystal clear. Over on the left, you've got the low-stakes creative tasks where AI really shines. Brainstorming, exploring ideas, generating variations. This is its sweet spot. But then on the right, you have the high-stakes, factual tasks. If you are getting facts, instructions, or any advice that has real-world consequences, you have to verify every single time.
And look, if you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, make it this. This is your guiding principle. If the stakes are anything higher than just playing around with ideas, you have a responsibility to verify that information before you act on it. Simple as that.
Ultimately, this is what it all comes down to. These are incredibly powerful tools, but they are just that, tools. Your experience, your intuition, your critical thinking skills, those are and always will be your most valuable assets. Don't ever let the confidence of the machine undermine confidence in your own judgment. So the real question isn't whether AI is good or bad. The question is whether we are equipped to use it wisely. By seeing AI as a tool to be managed, not a guru to be followed, you shift the power right back to where it belongs, with you. You have the framework now. You're ready.